write an essay on Auden's concept of love and its significance, and how far does this concept undergo a change in its course of his poetry. तो आपको ये पता है कि जो 30s का डेकेड था, ये जो 30s का जो डेकेड था, ये कैसा था? It was very turbulent. In the turbulent decade of the 30s, when social and economic problems were swarming in the society, Auden advocated a change of heart. Auden was aware of the need and the value of love much before he became a Christian. वो नीड और वैल्यू जान चुका था प्यार की उससे तब से जब वो क्रिश्चियन नहीं बना था. मच बिफोर ही बिकेम अ क्रिश्चियन, ही फेल्ट that it was love alone which could show the pain of unity and brotherhood, which were, you can say, vital to usher in the new social order. But however, the concept of love never remained the same for Auden, and it underwent a lot of changes in the various places of his career as a poet. If we talk about here as a topic, romantic love. Love is a word constantly recurring in Auden's poetry, but it gradually acquired a clarity in meaning from the confusion and vagueness in the early poems. Auden has, you can say, always been suspicious about the romantic love which he feels is self-love in disguise. Auden feels this love is distracting and takes us away from reality. Reality से हमको दूर ले जा रहा है. In his earlier poems, he thought of love. कैसे सोचा उसने? He thought of love as eros, and that is the Freudian sex instinct or libido. Further, there were two aspects of eros, that is the erotic instinct or wish for life, and the death instinct or thanatos, that is thanatos. Auden believed that the suppression of the erotic instinct could lead to disease, could lead to death. And एक example है, as in Miss Gee, the virgin who is denied sexual gratification develops a cancer. The doctor's diagnosis is that it is cancer. और एक quote है, childless women get it, and men when they retire. It's as if there had to be some outlet for their foiled creative fire. So, in the earliest phase, where Freudian influence was dominant, Auden believed that it was through love that the social ills could be remedied. And he has written a line, "The love is love. The love is love, surely one fearless kiss would cure. The million fevers, a stroking brush, the insensitive refuse from the burning core." There was a critic, I forgot his name, he feels this concept of love to be much higher than Freud's. He believes it becoming something dynamic, something universal, a form of mental therapy, a releasing and enlarging power, where Auden believed physical love to be short-lived, to be faithless, as he has said somewhere in this poem, that of who stands next and is not vexed and is not giddy, another to another designs his own unhappiness, foretells his own death, and is faithless. He talks about love in this way. So, Auden has actually identified love with a very creative force, possible only in people who dare to follow instincts. It cannot exist in the disintegrated persons with death and wish, who are victims of indecisiveness and inertia. If I talk about a poem है The Orators, where Auden has dwelt upon the various kinds of self regarding love which can bring about nothing but only misery. He disregards excessive, perverted lovers who are responsible for the moral degeneration of their society. In many poems of Look Stranger, we find self-love pitched against selfless and disciplined love. Now, there can be a point here to understand about Auden's emphasis, which shifts to action and exercising choice. He believes freedom to be control of self and surroundings, and control demands action, and action demands choice. Man must choose between good and evil in love as in everything else. Now, if I talk about this type, the acceptance of love with all its imperfections, which is paving the way for the acceptance of religious faith, Auden feels a total surrender to love, which can enable a man to achieve the ultimate objective redemption from anxiety and sin. Moreover, by 1940, Auden's concept of love became profounder. Not only profounder, but wider than anything he could find in Freud or Marx. So these lines will be important for you to write. Now, we will also study that in the last poems of Auden, love as a theme causes to be his major concern. With the acceptance of Christianity, his search, his quest for the meaning of love has come to an end. A critic has said that love for Auden always was a form of mental therapy, a gloriously effective psychoanalysis, a liberator, a cleanser, a releasing and enlarging power. So these things you have to write about it. Fine. So this entire discussion ends here. Now, one more question which I want to discuss with you is, evaluate W.H. Auden's In Memory of W.B. Yeats, ये जो poem है, as an elegy, or you can say analyze in detail Auden's poem In Memory of W.B. Yeats as an elegiac poem. I hope you must have understood this question. In Memory of W.B. Yeats So this poem was first published in New Republic. कहाँ publish हुई थी? In New Republic, and that is in 1939. In memory of W.B. Yeats, was written by Auden to mourn the death of the great Irish poet. ये पता ही है आपको, to mourn the death of the great Irish poet who was a contemporary of Auden and who passed away in January 1939. It was subsequently published in a collection of poems. उसका नाम था Another Time in 1940.